now, very quick. That will kind of enable you to go through like what GEM Green Building Certifications Program is and how ASSOCHAM GEM is related with electricity or any kind of lighting energy related things. That will help you to give a perspective. Myself, Shuf, Joint Director ASSOCHAM. So right now we are in this presentations. I'll take like it's like 33 slides. Or let's say I'll take like 8 minutes or so. So we have this program called ASSOCHAM GEM Green Building Certifications Program, and right now I'm talking about new and existing building rating systems and how these building rating systems operate. That is a different ball game. That's not the point for today. But what we are going to emphasize today is that how these buildings use different kinds of electricity things, energy things, and mostly lighting related things. And ASSOCHAM being Associated Chambers of Commerce and Industry of India from 101 years, it has been there, and with 400 chambers and 4.5 lakh members across India or abroad. We have this beautiful program, certifications program for buildings. We call it GEM. GEM means uh, Green and Eco-Friendly Movement. The movement, you can see the name movement means we are talking about the mass. So why it is talking about the mass? Because you want to make something that is applicable for throughout the nations, for everyone around the country. It's not for any segment of the people. For example, we are using lighting or bulbs. It's not for one person, right? It's for everyone. So rightly said that GEM in Green Building Certifications Program is indigenous to Indian climate because we are using the codes related to India. For example, BE CBC Energy Conservation Building Code, which is by BE Bureau of Energy Efficiency India, right? And NBC 2016. So here we are talking about it. Let me stop my video. I think the voice is like little bit breaking. Okay. So we are talking about energy and water efficiency, fire and life safety programs, fresh air, indoor air quality, daylights, and everything as the parameters they are to define. And when you're talking about this energy and water efficiency, definitely energy efficiency is not possible without lighting efficiency, and energy efficiency is not possible without renewable energy efficiency. And together we are combining both of them in our webinar. So it is very much relevant to this GEM perspectives as well. So United Nations SDGs 2030, where there are 17 goals, it is also taken into account when you're talking about GEM Green Building Certifications Program across with CAP 26, where we are talking. Prime Minister talked a lot of things regarding the commitments at COP26, while we're talking about net zero emissions, when we're talking about non-fossil energy capacity, we're talking about economical carbon intensity down from to 45% by 2030. This slide I am taking a little bit faster. Maybe a lot of you might be complaining that it is very fast. But the point is that we are not into GEM Real Building Certifications Program here. We are more into the lighting side that our eminent speakers will present today. So GEM certifications rating levels, you can see GEM 1 to GEM 5, they're based on different kinds of parameters. Certain parameters, one of the parameters is energy efficiency. So we are talking about water demand reductions, we are talking about optimization of energy usage, we are talking about carbon footprint assessment, capacity building of staff members, proper waste management implements. So these are the benefits of green building rating system. And the GEM advantage, the why we should go for GEM for any building. Number one thing is that it is from ASSOCHAM, which is a prestigious organization from a century, and it is the first indigenous program based on ECBC 2017 and NBC 2016. It is the first program that mandates fire and life safety as sustainability parameters. It is one of the programs which takes UN SDG and COP goals into account. It is affordable. We are reachable. Regular interactions between GEM and project teams with post certifications. The A lot of other benefits, tangible and non-tangible benefits are there with any kind of green building system, and GEM is one of them. As such, on GEM chapters, you can see the presence in the green sectors. You can see that these are the chapters where our presence is there. That doesn't mean that we are only this limited to these green areas. We are Our ASSOCHAM GM program is applicable to everyone. But it's just that our chapters are right now in the greener areas, or other areas are coming up slowly, very fast. And in the bylaws, FAR incentive, there are certain incentives being given by different states for green buildings. And in the Maharashtra, Rajasthan, or different few other states are also coming up. So this is rightly so. We are right. We have started this kind of initiative of energy efficiency as well. So lighting code is a part of that we will understand in a bit. GEM certified green projects. These are the illustratives of different kinds of projects that we have done over the past few years. Apart from green railway stations in Rani Kamalapati stations, you can see here that our PM and our Affinity is also here. So this is you can see in the red line that is the plaque of GEM, that is in the Habibganj railway stations. They have renovated this in a beautiful way, and Habibganj is right now renamed as Kamalapati Station. This is the Leela Hotel at Gandhinagar, Gujarat. Yeah. So we also have some kind of airports. We have different kinds of buildings across India, maybe universities, maybe plant, maybe hospitals, or you can say the existing buildings as well. Apart from that, those things, we are also existing MOUs with leading agencies such as ISLE, with whom we are presenting this webinar to you today regarding lighting energy efficiencies. And with universities also, we have our MOUs. The reason is the same: spreading sustainability awareness throughout the nation. And what can be the best way to do it than going into the minds of the students and professors from the very beginning of this thing. And that's why we have signed MOUs. Almost 90 universities have been signed MOUs with us, and we are spreading this knowledge of sustainability through everywhere in a different way. We have GEM certified professionals that we conduct different kinds of webinars or seminars in the last Saturday of every month. We prefer to do that, and this is a free webinar for professionals, faculty, students, and everyone. And once they clear the exam after this webinar, one can give an exam, JMCP exam we call it, and after we clear the examination, there is a lot of possibilities that are being provided to the JMCPs. This is in safe with all our sustainability awareness and initiatives. So this is a one kind of example regarding the Conclave Expo and what we do every year. We do it. In 2021, we do it 30th November to 2nd December. It was in virtual mode across India, and 3rd to 4th December 2021, Indian Habitat Center, New Delhi, we conducted this kind of sustainability awareness conclaves where there was expo, there was art program, there was conclaves, and there are a lot of learning things are there. And Isla was also a part of this seminar physically, and this is some illustrative photographs you can see here that how we conducted it. So by and large, we are doing different kinds of water audits, waste audits, energy audits, BRSR reporting, snack reporting. We are talking about carbon neutrality. We are talking about an holistic training on sustainability. That is our motto from ASSOCHAM GEM Green Building Council. And we are here to help you. Amit ji is here, so, myself, Shiv, and Haris is here, Tarun is here, Rohit is also here. So we all are here with you. If you have any kind of questions, you can shoot up a mail or you can just give us a call regarding how we can approach for the GEM building certifications or GMCP examinations. So right now, I will not take much time because we have a lot to discover through our eminent speakers. So I am stopping it right now, and we will move to the next segment from here. We'll take our questions. So guys, do not fail to give questions. We will take it at the end part of the sessions. We'll take up questions from you, but you can put it in the chat box from right now whenever you possible. Okay. So we'll move to the next session. So I'll talk. Rohit, can you please give the slide for Prakash ji? So friends, we have a great participant right now. We are almost like 150 to 200 participants in the very beginning, and I think we all will stay tuned. It will increase from a long time. And because this is a very interesting subject, and for the moderations, I am here welcoming Dr. Prakash Barjatia ji, who is a GB member and Director of Education and Training of ISLE. And he has been associated for ISLE with for over like the last 30 years or so. And you can see that there is a lot of things in his credit, like National Lighting Code of BIS, and as a governing body member of ISLE and as a Director of Education Training, 17 student chapters with about 1,000 students are registered with ISLE. And sustainability, lighting pollutions, eco-friendly lighting, renewable size lighting, different kinds of lighting aspects are there. And Prakashji has been very much equivocal about all these subjects over the years, 30 years or more. He is nominated as an honorary member of ASSOCHAM, National Council for Green and Eco-Friendly Movement, this one. And as director, MIT Group of Institutes, Pune, instrumental in conceptualizations, development and starting of first ever industry-oriented 2 years techno managerial PG programming lighting technology and Energy Management in 2007. So you can see the propensity of Dr. Prakash Badjetia's knowledge and his eagerness. So I would like to welcome Prakashji to give some light on today's seminar and webinar and take it forward. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Shubh, and also Mr. Amit Kumar for organizing this event. So, good afternoon, everybody. I welcome all the participants and all the speakers, experts, those who are going to address today. As Mr. Shubh has explained clearly about the background of this program, say we are talking about the eco-friendly lighting per se at one time, and at that time the thing comes only in our mind is the LED. But about few years back, about 8 to 10 years back, government has taken a moment of solar street lighting. Now at that time, government spent a lot of money on that projects, but then ultimately when it was done a survey of all such places, it was found that 80% of them were not functional. The very basic idea that we are considering only eco-friendly lighting means quality of LED. We are not considering the quality of solar or the problems of the stationary battery or the controls. Whereas, this is the, without that, it is an integrated approach. And this is what reason came to it my mind, and when I seen it, one article was also there published in the lighting, where I have highlighted that we have to go now together. We cannot go alone, neither solar can go alone, nor LED can go. If you are really talking about the eco-friendly lighting. So this was the reason it started, and that's what the reason that me joined somewhere in the 2020, and then also last year in 2000. So this is what the background. Just give a very about the. Hello. Yes. It is visible now. The screen is visible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So as I said you that
Make it full screen.
we signed the ASSOCHAM with the ASSOCHAM on 15th of July 2020, and subsequently even ACSI also joined the hands with them, and we just signed last year about a year back on 29th of January 2001. The very basic reason that when they are talking about the green energy movement or the eco-friendly movement, now we cannot go alone. That's why the reason. Then after joining hands with the ASSOCHAM, I am happy to share that last 1.5 years, we almost conducted 17 programs on the different subjects of lighting. So this was there. And then with that, in that series now, today we are going to present a business case renewable energy plus storage, which is again, you can say, an integrated approach towards lighting, batteries, storage, and the solar. So this is not going to be the today's point of discussion. Now, considering about SEISI is the Solar Energy Society of India, is established in 1978 at New Delhi. It covers all aspects of renewable energy, including characteristics and all that. The society is administered by its governing council, where 20 members are there, and consisting of president, vice presidents, and other office bearers. What are the activities of SECI? Now, SECI, of course, they publish the general, SESI general, they publish biannual technical journal. Then also they publish a monthly newsletter, SECI newsletter. Also, they conduct the workshops and also the international congress or seminars. They also publication of the proceedings of annual convention. Their membership is open for anybody as per the need requirement, like patron, life, organization, individual, volunteer organization, student. So this is what the background of the SSC. Coming to ISLE, ISLE is the Indian Society of Lighting Engineers. Now its aims and objectives that promoting the art, science, and practice of lighting technology advancing education and research in lighting technology, formulating lighting codes, guides, technical reports, maintaining liaison and technical interaction with the national and international organizations, cooperation with Bureau of Indian Standards, and providing guidance to young engineers for career improvement. And if you see our vision, mostly the areas which is concentrated, one is the National Lighting Code. I hope majority of you may be aware that in the national there are so many national codes are there, like National Building Code or others. Similarly, there is a National Lighting Code which was published in 2010, initial first version. And now, as you know, because along with the technology, we have to review the any publication technical. That's why National Lighting Code is also is under review, and it is this complete work of review has been entrusted to ISLE, and I'm proud to say that our General Secretary Dr. Mandal has worked hard on that one, and he has done very nice work, which has been now submitted to BIS for their final approval, and is likely to be published in this year. Then another approach is the National Lighting Center, Center of Excellence. Similarly, there is certification for lighting designers like NCQLP in USA. Because in USA, if anybody wants to practice lighting, just they cannot start their practice. They have to pass the exam, qualifying exam, which is known as NCQLB, National Council of Qualifying Lighting Professionals. So this also we are thinking to start in our country also in the similar lines. Then under the skill development, we are trying to develop some small courses, skill development, then awareness program for students on energy saving. And also we are, ISLE is from the very beginning involved in the promoting the educational, that is postgraduate degree, diploma, certificate courses in lighting and illumination. So this is what the our vision of the ISLE. Then we are working together nationally and internationally. Nationally, we are associated with the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, Bureau of Indian Standards, Ministry of Power. Internationally, also we are working together with the ISNA, that is the Illumination Engineering Society of North America, Lux Pacifica, Institute of Lighting Engineers, UK, IES, and the SAARC countries. So this is what we are working together, and this is our membership. Membership is there, different categories, which is there, institutional, big company, small company, fellow, member, and the associate member. And the fees is there. If you compare the fees, they are very minimal as compared to any other professional organization. So this is what about the ISLE. And with this, thanks Edmund. These are the contact details are there for both SESI and also for the ISLE. So if those who are interested, we welcome you to join ISLE and as well as SSC, and then we can definitely, do more and more work for this one. So with this one, I now invite the. I'm happy to share that we have got today 3 speakers is there, experts in this field. So our first expert is going to talk today is Mr. Yogesh Kumar. Yes, please. योगेश कुमार का स्लाइड रोहित. Mr. Yogesh Kumar Singh, he has got more than 12 years of experience in the renewable energy experience and research and development. He is associated with the number of national and international associations. Of course, I know him last more than 2 years, and he is very quite active and dynamic person. He has done a lot of seminars and the courses, short-term courses in the solar. So he is expert in the solar. So with this brief introduction, I invite Mr. Yogesh Kumar to take over. Mr. Yogesh.
Sure, thank you. Thank you very much, sir, for giving me the chance to this thing. I just asked to the sharing right. Can you give me the sharing right to me? First of all, thank you to the JAM, ASSOCHAM, ISLE, and SESI to organize this wonderful event. So I'm just sharing my screen with you, and then we will start our presentation. My screen is visible.
Yeah, perfect.
Yes, it is visible.
Is visible.
Okay, so the today topic is a business case of renewable energy plus energy storage. So I'm basically covered the solar photovoltaic part where we have discussed about the types of module, which types of module are available in the market, and what is the upcoming future in a solar energy in India. So when we started from this journey, so the first we discuss about the Indian power sector. So if you're talking about the Indian power sector, so the total installed capacity in India, if you're talking about the 31st March of 2021, so the total installation capacity around 382 gigawatt of the entire country. Is 53%, hydro is a 12%, nuclear is a 2%, diesel engine is a 0.6%, and lignite and gas energy is a 6 and 2%. If you see the renewable energy part, so in 2021, the solar power and a wind power will be coming in the same scale. It will be around the 42% of the energy generation is done by this both of the technology. If you see the potential of India, so if you're talking about the potential of India, so India has a more than 1,000 gigawatt of potential. If you're talking about the especially the solar energy, so India has a more than 750 gigawatt of potential of solar energy. For the wind energy, it has around 300 gigawatt. For the bioenergy, is potential of 25 gigawatt. And if you're talking about the small hydro project, so we have the potential around more than 50 gigawatt for the entire country. So this is the meaning that if we talking about the renewable energy, and if we only dependent to the renewable energy, so we have the enough energy. If we can generate the enough energy amount with the help of this renewable energy. Now, if you see the growth of renewable energy in India, so if you see in a year of 2002, so only the 3.5 gigawatt of the total installation happening in India. And when we see in 2018, so we have already achieved around 71.52 gigawatt for the entire country. And the MNRE has seen the major role of achieving this target. And we have thinking that we will achieve around 175 gigawatt of the 2022. And our next target is around 2030 is more than the 500 gigawatt. And our government has working in the same way. Now, when we're talking about the solar module, so the basic material for the module is a silicon material. Then we will make the ingots, then we make the wafers, then we make the cell, and then we will make the module. So if you're talking about the major technology of solar PV technology in India, so there is the crystalline technology and a thin film technology. So when we're talking about the crystalline technology, we have the monocrystalline and a polycrystalline technology. And when we're talking about the thin film, so we have a different type of technology like the CDT, CIGS, amorphous silicon, micromorph, triple tandem. So these are the technologies available in the India. But these are the technology will also depend to the climatic zone wise, the weather condition, and it is also depend to the temperature and the radiation behavior from Indian side. Now, apart from that, if you see the upcoming year of the last couple of years, the lot of revolution will be happening in renewable energy. Now we have a getting the flexible solar panel is also available in the market, and with the help of that, we will utilize in a bigger way. So with the help of that, we do not require any glass or any any membrane on the module. So we will just use the flexible module, and with the help of that, we will make any such type of design. Apart from that, the new revolution is happening in the half-cut module cell. So this module is basically the advantage for the shading part of the thing, because a lot of time we see that the shading part will be happening on the module. So your module will be not generate to the optimum amount of energy. So, the industry has go to the half-cut module, and with the help of this module, we can generate to the more energy is the seating part as compared to the normal module. Apart from that, the last couple of years, the monoPERC technology has come in a very big role in India. And this module is the passive emitted rear contact cell. So if you see the normal module, so you can find out the things that there is a this is a standard cell, but what is the difference between the PERC cell? So in a PERC cell, we will use it to the passive emitter rear contact cell, and with the help of silicon nitride from the capping layer, and with the help of that, we can generate to the maximum energy as compared to the standard module. So now this day, the lot of the project will be going to the monoper kind of technology. Apart from that, the industry, the last couple or 2 to 3 years before, the bifacial module has coming in a very big role. And the advantage of the bifacial module from the study side, if you're using to the bifacial module, so we can produce more than 11% of energy as compared to the normal module. And if we're using to the tracking system, so we can generate more than 27% of more energy as compared to the normal module. So if we require to the high energy kind of thing, high energy perspective, so we can use to the bifacial module, and with the help of that, we can generate to the maximum energy as compared to the normal module. Now, if you're talking about the PV system, how can it will working? So the major PV component like the PV module, then we have required the structure. So the structure quality is also very important for the design, because if you're talking about the lifetime or reliability of the solar module, so it will become around 25 years. So your module warranty will be given the 25 years. So to make sure whatever the structure you are using, it will also sustain for the 25 years. The way then the foundation is very, very important on that perspective. Apart from that, the cabling selection and cabling sizing is also important for the proper generation. Then we have using to the inverter. And finally, we have using to the communication cable and the metering console. So this is a different type of component, and we see that lot of failure has coming to this component, which is coming to the real time. So I'm just focusing to the some problem. What are the major problem is coming to the module when we will install in the field? Because when you install to the module, the operation and maintenance kind of thing is lacking in India, and we did not achieve at maximum amount of energy as compared to the installation part. So we just focus that what are the major failure has come to the solar module. So when you're talking about the failure, so basically this is the three type of failure has coming in the module, just like the infant failure, then the midlife failure, and the wear out failure. So some failure like the degradation will be happening by the LID, that is called to the light induced degradation. Then the glass degradation, the EVA discoloration, the delamination, the cell corrosion, the PID effect, the potential induced degradation effect, the diode failure condition. And this type of failure will be coming in the market. And with the due to this failure, our module will be not sustained to the 25 years. So what is the major observation we'll find out in the module? So if you go to the IC, the International Electrotechnical Commission of IC 61215 and 61646. So from there we can find out the different type of the failure kind of things a module like that. If you're talking about the front side, so in a module there is a bubbling, delamination, yellow and browning things will be coming in a module. Otherwise, so there is a broken cell, cracked cell, discoloration, and anti-reflection has coming in there. If you're talking about the cell in metallization, so there is some oxidization will be happening there. If you're talking about the frame side, so sometimes the frame will be banded, broken, scratches, and misleading in some corner. And the major failure has coming to the back side of module, where we have using to the tattler or back seat. So there is a major failure has come like the delamination, bubble, yellow scratches and burn mark. And when we're talking about the junction box kind of thing, so junction box is also failure due to the oxidation, corrosion and the loose connection. And the final the point is a wire connection, because if you did not using to the proper wiring connection from your the solar power plant, the sometime your solar power plant has catching to the fire. So it will be also making the failure of the solar power plant. So whenever we design to the solar power plant, it's always using to the proper cable selection, and the proper rating of the wiring connection will be required for the system. Now, if you're talking about the failure, whatever the discuss is there, so this is the first failure. If you see this kind of module, so there is some brown mark will become on the edge of the cell corner. So initially is a very small patches, but after the some time it will be coming in a very big way, and it will be damaging your module. This is another example of the module like that. This is a thin film module, and if you're clipping the module in a very hard nut, so you can see that this will be the breaking in the corner, and it is also not generating to the maximum amount of energy. So whenever you install to the system, you will also taking care about this type of flexibility. Otherwise, you will be facing some issue from your solar module. This is the burn mark from the back side. If you did not use the good quality of the module, good quality of the cell, so if you did not use the good quality of the back seat, so you can also find out some burn mark of the back seat, and it will be the damaging your module. The next thing is the burn mark in the front side. So if the sometime we can see the in a field direction, there is a burn mark, it will become in the front side, and after the few duration, your module will be degraded, and it will be not operating in an optimum amount of energy. The another issue will become in a module is the delamination. If there is some oxidation, or if the EVA is not the proper, so the delamination issue will be coming in there. The another major problem is come to the snail trail. So this type of things will become in a module, and initially there is only come to the snail trail, but the later on the cell will be the crack down. And how can we observe this thing if there is some failure has coming in the module? Now this is a typical example of the browning of the solar cell. So you can find out, so this is a different type of scenario. How can you find out the browning of the solar module? And if the browning will become there, so definitely it will be also affecting to the total energy generation of the module. Now, this is a thermography kind of thing. So with the help of that of the thermography, we will cross-check our solar module if there is some problem in the module. So we can see with the help of this thermography. The another methodology is the electroluminescence images. So you can see that in a normal eyes, you can see that your module is okay, but with the help of electroluminescence, the images, you can find out if any cell will be cracked out, so you can easily find out the scenario, and you can easily identify this thing. So today, the presentation, we will discuss about the renewable energy and energy storage. But the first thing is the quality. If you do not using to the proper quality of the module or the cell, so your storage or your reliability will be affected from the system. The next major the things will be the dominant to the module is the shading. So if there is some partial shading or the fully shading, your module will be not working on that particular thing. The another issue, the sometime we see that this type of shadow will be coming on a module, and it will be not generated with the optimum amount of energy. And this is the importance of cleaning. A lot of time the bird dropping and the bird dropping things will become there, and if you did not clean your module, so after the some time it will be creating the hot spot, and it will be damaging to the cell quality. This is another example of solar street light. You can also see in a daily life a lot of places where we have installed to the solar street light, the shadow will be affected on the module. Now, the last important things for the good quality of the generation or the data, the system monitoring is a very important from your observation, because without system monitoring, you cannot see what will be happening on your module. So if your system is a small scale or if it's a large scale, the system monitoring is a very important. So a lot of the company has given to this the system monitoring aspects, and from this aspect you can see your module performance, how much your module will be performing on a daily basis. And you can also see some issue if your module will be not working in a proper way, so you can also cross check to the the faults is there. Apart from that, you can also cross check to the energy generation and the performance ratio and the capacity utilization factor also. So the monitoring is a very important aspect for the energy generation. So the last point is the operation and maintenance kind of thing. So if we install to the solar module, and once the solar module has installed, so generally the company give to the guarantee for the solar module is more than 20 to 25 years. And once the installation has done, the second major work will become to the operation and maintenance type. So we have a different type of location, and every location we have a different type of strategy of the operation and maintenance kind of thing, because India has 6 different climatic zones, and each climatic zone the weather condition will be different. Some places the dust is very high amount, some places is very cold, some places is UV is maximum exposure is there. So every places your operation and maintenance will be the suffer is there. So we will require some resource availability and the resource allocation, and with the help of that we will go to the plant ownership and operation. And if you're talking about the system owner has self on the system, or the third party has on the system. And if you have using to the energy users by, so we can also do the feed-in tariff and a net metering and self-consumption of the system. So now this is the biggest the things I just discussed to you. This study has come to the I come to the yesterday, and this is a very alarming situation from our Indian module perspective side. If you see this particular parameter, so you can see that the Indian module has come to the CCC plus rate, and only the sixth module which is a come to the A, double A or triple A rate, and there is a no Indian module as coming to this particular aspect. And now the day we will talking about the 500 gigawatt of the solar installation and making India kind of thing. So it is a very, very alarming situation for India. So now we are thinking that how can we achieve this CC plus thing in a triple A case. So it is a very major concern from the Indian side. So this is from my side. Thank you very much to ASSOCHAM to give me the opportunity. If you have any question, you just write on a chat box. This is my mail ID. You can also mail to me. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Yogesh Kumar Singh. Really, in a very short time, you have covered a lot of things. So I must thank you on behalf of all the participants that you have not covered about the basics of the solar and also about its different type of defects and how to take care, even including the monitoring of the system. So
Thank
I
you,
must compliment you, but in a short period and a short time, you have covered a lot of things, and I'm sure that the participants will be definitely get benefited. And those who are interested, if they've got any questions, they can put their questions in the chat box, so which will be taken at the end of our this webinar
sure, sir, sure.
presentations.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we have got another expert with us on the storage batteries, Mr. Pug. Mr. Pugajenti, he is the Executive Director of India-led Zinc Development Association, which is also part of the Battery Society of India. So, as I mentioned in the beginning, that now when we are talking about the eco-friendly lighting or something, we cannot go alone only with the LED or its quality. We have to make sure that all the 4 components, that is about the LED, solar, batteries, and the controls, all the 4. So that's why we have tried to bring in this seminar, short seminar, experts from all the field. So now we have got another expert from the battery now. Mr. Pugajant is known as, the name is very lengthy, so I think I know him more in the industry. He is a metallurgical engineer by profession, followed by post-graduation in management. He has got more than 45 years experience in the applications of LED. So he is also in the adopting of the rules for the Ministry of Energy and Forest. So with this brief background, I invite Mr. Pook, if he is there. Mr. Pook?
I think we lost him. He's not
Yes,
there,
please.
sir. He's not there,
Yes,
sir. We
yes.
lost him.
Okay, 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 okay. Okay, ठीक है, thank you. Okay, ठीक है. We can invite you. We can bring it to you now. No issue. Okay, just a minute. Just a minute. I will do that one. I will do that one. Sorry, friends. There was some problem with Mr. Pook because he was to travel, so he is in the boarding. We'll take his assistant will bring him. So, Mr. Amit,
Yes, sir.
Amit,
Yeah. Tell me, sir.
are you able to listen to me, Mr.
Yes,
Amit?
yes. We can hear you, sir.
Amit,
I can hear you, sir.
there is one Mr. Sridhar is there. Mr. Sridhar is there in the
Sir,
audience. Can you
sir, please switch off
get
your
him and
video.
then,
Sir, switch off. Prakash, sir, please
so
switch off
please
your video. Right
get
now,
Mr.
you are
Sridhar as a panelist.
Mr. Sridhar. Okay.
So
Rohit,
can you
please.
please get Mr. Sridhar in the panelist, and the presentation he already forwarded to you earlier.
Mr. Sridhar, na? Give me a second.
Okay,
Rohit,
fine.
please do.
Okay, yes. Now, okay. Yes. Now, Amit, the issue that
Mr. K. Sridhar is present now. Mr. K. Sridhar.
Yes, sir. Good evening to everybody, sir. I'm Sridhar here. I'm
Very
colleague
good
of
evening.
Mr. Pook,
Yeah.
Mr. Pugarendi,
K.
who is
Sridhar.
shortly called as Mr. Pook.
yes, he is.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
He was waiting
Available,
actually. He's just boarding the flight, so he could not make the presentation. If
No issue.
somebody can project the presentation, I can just run through quickly. So audience
Yeah,
are
yeah.
not
Mr.
disappointed on this presentation. Just I can
Yes,
run through. That's it. Then if
Yeah.
any
Ma-
queries,
Yes, Mr. Sridhar, we welcome you for this seminar.
thank you, sir.
And to come to our help. And definitely, I think it will be useful for all to listen to you and about the batteries. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Please.
Barjati sir. Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. So you can see the title there, lead batteries. This is a case for a renewable energy. Lead batteries is very important for part of our life nowadays. So that's my executive director, Mr. L. Pugarendi, who has made the presentation, and he's also a past president of Indian Institute of Metals. Next slide, please. I'll just run through the slides. If any queries are there, you can just email to us, and Mr. Pook will be happy to help you on those things. And you can see the renewable energy, where all it's being used, and the project renewable energy target by 2022, 175 gigawatts. I don't know it's going to be achievable or not now. By 2030, it's around 450 gigawatts. So next slide, please. I'm just running through off. If you see here, nowadays the solar panels, how is picking up? This is an typical Cochin airport where it's a car parking, where the over rooftop is fully covered up with the solar panels in the Cochin airport. It's a state-of-art airport there. Next one, please. Next slide, please. Can you please show the next slide? Hello.
Rohit. Please change the slide, Rohit.
Because I'm not going to spend much time, just I'm running through the slides. Please.
No issue.
Please be comfortable,
Okay,
Sridhar. No issue.
whatever.
Okay, sir. Okay. And this is
Be
the
comfortable.
this is the new technology. If you see in the smart cities coming over all over the India, this is in Vaishak. The latest one is in floating solar panels. You can see the beauty there. And so this all will be supported by lead acid batteries, where is it's a big growth. Next slide, please. You can see this slide. This all taken from the Week magazine. So just you can have a, because I have not prepared for making a complete presentation in the last moment. So you can just have a look. Next one. Yeah, this is the renewable power, solar, wind, and others. You can see how solar is growing up. Next, please. This is again where I earlier mentioned about 2022, it's going to be 175, but they mentioned unlikely to be met. But 2024, it's going to be 225 gigawatts. By 2030, again 450. You can see the investments also there. The current one in 2014 and the next estimate. Next one, please. So this is where we are mentioning lead acid batteries touches our lives. Used everywhere. Railways, yes, we have lead acid batteries. Automotive, yes. Inverter nowadays, each and every household, there is no house without inverter, I can say. UPS again, then telecom, the street lights, solar energy, and again the electric vehicles, the grooming of all three-wheelers, e-rickshaws having with lead acid batteries. So really lead acid batteries is an essential in our life nowadays. Next slide, please. The next slide, you will be seeing the global lead consumption share. This is a slide presented by the International Lead and Zinc Study Group, ILZSZ, Lisbon, Portugal, 1970, and the growth in 2020. Next slide, please. And now it's India production and end uses of lead, where the batteries is the major portion of 75%, alloys and chemicals and cable sheathing, where primarily lead and lead imports are given there. Secondary lead production around 1.10 is the estimate. Next one, please. Here again the secondary lead share, primary is 13%, secondary is 74% there, imports almost 13% again, equal to the primary. Next one, please. This is the conclusions way forward on lead acid batteries, most safe and sustainable, which is long experience usage, easily available, affordable, and disposable. That is lead. I'm sorry I could not make a elaborate one. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Barjate Saab, Mr. Sood Saab, great friend. If any thing more you want details from our society, we are here to help. You can email us to us. So we'll be helping you. And also, if you can send the queries to Dr. Barjatia or Mr. Sood Saab, they will be forwarding it to us. So we'll be giving all the details to you. Thank you so much. And thanks to the organizers.
Thank you, Sridhar.
Thank you.
Sorry, it was a last moment because all the participants, we are sorry that Mr. Pugajanti, he was forced to travel in the last moment because of some emergency. So that's why I could not make a presentation. But anyway, we are thankful to Mr. Sridhar that last moment at least he could throw some light on the lead acid batteries.
Thank you, sir.
Now,
Thank
no,
you.
no, lead acid battery today is the age was he explained is the today is the life because you have seen now in almost all the spheres of our life it is there. Even when we are talking today, everybody is talking about the e-mobility. Again in the e-mobility, although they are using the zinc ion batteries, lead ion batteries, but then zinc ion batteries, but then again, since neither it is available in the country, nor technology, nor the raw material. So that's why from all the angles, even lead acid battery is more preferred for the two-wheelers and three-wheelers, specifically in the e-vehicles. So that's why there is a scope for the lead acid batteries. Only then it has to be little bit improvement required from the efficiency point of view, which ILZDA, Battery Society of India, and other experts, CCI, Karaikudi, they all are working in that. And this is what is going to be the future for the batteries, which is going to be used for the solar also, and for lighting, street lighting also. Anyway, with that, now we move to our next and the last speaker, Mr. Praveenkumar Suth. Well, I can say that, as I mentioned, he is the one in all. He is the expert in all the field, including batteries, lead acid batteries, solar, and also the lighting. Mr. Sood is the chairman of the Regnant Energy Solutions, and he is a hardcore green and clean technologies enthusiast and an entrepreneur. He delivered into electronics in 1975 when he was only 20 years old. So this is the time, from the young age, he was writing for the EFY. I think majority of you knowing the name Electronics for You. So since age of 20, he is writing that. Then of course he shifted to New York somewhere in 1982, and then subsequently he went to Singapore and Hong Kong, and from there then he also traveled to China. His interest in battery storage and solar technologies made him sign a MOU with Terry for their lighting and Billion Leaves program. The Ministry of New and Renewable Energy has impaneled Regnant Energy Solutions, his company, as a channel partner for solar grid connected rooftop and small solar power plants program. So with this brief introduction, I welcome Mr. Praveenkumar Suth to take over. Mr. Suth, please.
Thank you, Dr. Barjatia ji and ASSOCHAM team. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, please. Please carry on.
Okay, thank you very
Yes,
much
yes.
for the great efforts put by the entire team. And though it is very unfortunate that at the last moment, Mr. Pug had to leave, because what I am going to discuss, the business case for renewable energy for an energy storage, because this is a game changer globally, now accomplished and very well making business sense. And that is the reason that I delved into this subject. And in my presentation, I'll be covering a lot of issues regarding people have this misconception somehow that lead acid batteries have no future. Mr. Sridhar has already delivered some of the key points of lead situation and the lead batteries in terms of latest international positions. And what I wish he could have probably delved into, but in any case, it doesn't matter. There is an advanced consortium for battery innovation. That consortium was earlier called Advanced Battery Concepts, but now it has changed. And this is the consortium which is driving the new generation of batteries, and they are working more to bridge the gap between the performance of lead acid batteries by introducing carbon materials which are in microscopic form like graphenes and stenines in order to improve the performance of traditional lead acid batteries. And just like my colleague Yogesh from solar energy sector has delivered his ideas and his knowledge, shared his knowledge on the solar cells, probably the same situation, guys, is also in the batteries field. In the lead acid batteries also, India, if we rate compared to the international brands available, the quality of lead acid batteries, with my experience, I have found is not up to that mark of what the other global standard players are. And only recently, a few companies have joined this global consortium for battery innovation, which has been in existence. Mr. Sridhar and Puk will agree, for more than 5 years. And now it is the time for us to continue this standard practice for so many other reasons, and probably because I've got so much to share. But given the paucity of time, I would request Dr. Barjatia ji that while I'm speaking, looking at the time, you can stop me and ask me to accelerate whenever it is required, because I want to hear more from the participants who should be the real beneficiaries of the ideas that I'm going to discuss in my presentation. So I request the ASSOCHAM team now to start putting up my presentation. Can you do it now, please? Can you share my presentation?
Just a minute. And you can take
Yes,
half
sir.
an hour easily without any problem.
Okay, sir.
No issue.
Rohit, please share the content.
So
Go ahead, sir.
next one, because this, yeah, next one, please. Yeah. So my entire presentation revolves around this concept, which to an Indian mindset should be very, very familiar. When Lord Krishna was giving lecture to Arjun, and Arjun could not understand about the construction of our universe and how the universe system operates, then Lord Krishna finally, Lord Krishna is the greatest mentor for all scientists, and the examples are what you see here, like Einstein, Nikola Tesla, all these great scientists owe a lot to what has been told in by Lord Krishna, that how this universe operates. And in the following slides, I will show you that actually there is no shortage of electricity like we are concerned today. But the problem is we need the necessary technology to harness that energy abundantly available in a clean manner and utilize it more efficiently. I understand that a lot of people were initially not understanding that, and in fact, energy efficiency, investments in energy efficiency, the payback period is much shorter compared with renewable energy, when renewable energy was considered to be expensive. And that is why I got involved with the Bureau of Energy Efficiency right from its first day of inception. That was a very, very good thing for me to understand and develop and help develop the Indian ecosystem of energy efficiency before renewable energy started taking more important, because at that time, I'm talking about an era around year 2000. At that time, the cost of renewable energy was really very high, but gradually, as it happens in every industry, it started coming down as the scale of operation was going higher. Next one, please. Amit? Yeah. This is to show you the carbon emission per capita by country. So you can see here that, given our land resources, our population, we are still not generating so much of carbon emission compared to other countries. And this graph was published in a major international magazine from where I've taken it. Is not originally from me. So you can rely on this data, which was published by an international organization. The big countries who were doing, they have done development. Yes, they have achieved development. The development has been achieved at a higher cost of carbon dioxide emission. And now they are asking us, countries like us, to reduce our levels, which is actually not ethical, but it doesn't mean that we don't have to do it. Otherwise, we all know the effect of climate change, because climate change, and the typical example of what today people are relating, even the COVID situation, that it has got a connection with the climate change. So that means we have no time to lose to understand the importance of taking care of our environment and carbon emissions. Next, please. So this is again from very, I think the source was either Times of India or Economic Times, one of these newspapers which I get daily. And you can see that, in India, we still consider that coal is a cheaper alternative. But when we calculate the real environmental impact and the cleaning impact, then it is not a cheap alternative. The cheaper alternative is going in for energy efficiency and then trying to utilize as much of renewable energy. And in this case, a great emphasis is also required on using our agro waste, because we all know India produces a huge agro waste, and every season, whenever there is a harvest season, we have a lot of pollution because farmers burn their residue. That residue can always be converted into a useful energy source in different form, whether we use pelletizing technology or so many other technologies. So this is just to show that, you know, our mindset is the real culprit, and we have to work very aggressively with our market, with our government. And I wish to be part of the ASSOCHAM team, where we can take all these issues strongly with the government, that there is no time to be lost now, given the new direction the budget has given on a clean and development oriented, sustainable development oriented economy. Next, please. Now, this is another one from a Hindi newspaper, and you can see that irrespective of the region, irrespective of the newspaper, everybody knows now that the only solution to current problem is green energy. And in that, India has abundant potential. And in order to tap that potential, whatever are the bottlenecks, whether it is the technologies, willingness, or the skilling, or the capital finance, all of these have to be brought together under one platform. And this is what our entire team is trying to do. And that is why I keep on connecting people whom I know have done wonderful work, even without government assistance. Everybody looks at government assistance in any case, but there are many such people we are in touch with who have done and success stories. They have business successfully running without any government support. Next, please. Now, these are, as I explained you, three of my favorite inspirational personalities. Lord Krishna, I already explained. Dr. Abdul Kalam, I don't think any Indian, this such a great personality that we don't know whether we are going to find another person like him. So much scientific mind, so much human, so humble person. And Nikola Tesla. Many people may not know the story of Nikola Tesla because I interact with many people. In fact, a lot of credit which Thomas Alva Edison got was because of the hard work, the sweat and toil work which we call of Nikola Tesla, because Nikola Tesla was born in a poor country, Eastern Europe. And when Thomas Alva Edison was battling with his delivery mechanism, because his funders were after him that you must deliver AC distribution power network in New York City first, because the Thomas Alva Edison was actually funded by JP Morgan. And when he could not see that he was able to do in a time frame which was defined, he advertised for some senior scientists and experimenters in Eastern Europe, where a lot of talent was available. And out of so many applicants which came, it was Nikola Tesla who was invited by Thomas Alva Edison. And ultimately it was Nikola Tesla who delivered a promise in much shorter time compared to what was the time given by JP Morgan. And Nikola Tesla's ideas were that there is so much of abundant of energy, just like Lord Krishna had said, in this universe, that only we need the appropriate technologies to harness those powers, and then there will be actually no shortage of power. So that is why Elon Musk in US, you know that they have a huge automobile industry, and in the automobile industry they have so many different brands. Many people do not know that why Elon Musk and the board of governors of those the companies where he is a member, They choose the Tesla motor as the name because many people familiar with science know the Tesla coil or Tesla measurement, but they don't know the whole history of Nikola Tesla. I'm a real fan of Nikola Tesla and also a member of International Tesla Society. And during my US stay with Dr. Barjati, I explained, I was very fortunate to visit the original laboratories where Nikola Tesla had worked and look at his patents and got a lot of ideas which have been floating in my mind for so many years. Next, please. This is what our great president, scientist, human being was always saying. Education is very, very paramount. That is why, today it is most important that our youth on which we are banking, we can be a good mentor, a good teacher, or good resource connector. But the youth primarily should be well educated, not educated in the sense of having degrees, but having the required skills, which our Honorable Prime Minister is so much keen upon. So therefore, it is a message to our youth that they should have the right kind of skills and use those skills to solve the grassroots levels problems of the society. That is the real purpose of education. Education is not about sitting just on computers, doing something which is not actually giving any results to the society. So therefore, education and skills and employable skills is what is really required. Next, please. This is what I had already said, that he had already said that there is enough energy in global ecosystem in various forms. We only need technologies for their peaceful deployment for sustainable development of human civilization. Here it was a scientist in his age when there was so much of world wars and things like that going on. He was the one being a scientist who spoke about the universal brotherhood and using technology for the peaceful development of human civilization, because he had suffered a lot during the world wars, and that is why he said that maybe during his lifetime there may not be adequate technologies available because the required components, because semiconductor industry was just born at that time, and he knew and he had already proven that DC motors and DC generators are most efficient. And even today you will find all electric vehicles, they have DC motors, primarily brushless DC motors, and similarly high power locomotives. Your metro trains, mostly inside them they have DC motors only driving them. If people remember, there was a time in Delhi, in Chandni Chowk, there was a tram car, and similarly those tram cars used to run at some time in Mumbai, I was told, and also in Calcutta. All of these were running on DC only, and the prime reason for that was because the DC motors were more efficient in terms of torque. Next, please. Can you move on to the next slide, please? Yeah. So this is a very small idea recently which I gave, that the real problem of our rural households can be easily removed if we move away from the centralized to decentralized system. Because in the decentralized system, the local access to energy is controlled at the local community level. So the high cost, because previously the cost of renewable energy was high. Now the cost of renewable energy has come down. But then at the time when the renewable energy is not available, you need something to replace that. And previously people were using the grid network for that. But now with the cost of solar, or I would say not only solar, any renewable energy source, plus the cost of storage has come down now drastically. And primarily in this kind of, we have something called stationary storage this is a stationary solar application. In the electric mobility, the weight of the battery is very, very important, and that is why advanced lead carbon batteries cannot make sense for the four-wheelers, but for the two-wheelers and three-wheelers, they make better economic sense for a country like India. Whereas for the other applications, stationary storage using vertical axis wind turbines that I'll speak about in the next slides, and these kind of local systems can make a lot of sense, because most of the most efficient electrical appliances that you use in your home nowadays, which are based on semiconductor technologies, are primarily all working on DC. Let me give you some small examples. When you go to the market and you buy a good 3-star, 5-star rated refrigerator, and if it is written direct cool refrigerator, direct cool will mean that inside this it has a DC compressor. Similarly, inverter air conditioners. Inverter air conditioners, again, first take your AC power, turn it into DC, and then the entire system operates. Then you have now a category of fans, which you can see on the Bureau of Energy Efficiency website, that is called the brushless DC super efficient fans. Compared to your normal AC fans, which take anywhere from 90 watt hours, not only watt hours, but also because the power factor is not very, in the cheaper fan, it could be 0.6 or something like that. In the high quality rated, it may be 0.85 or 0.9, whereas the power factor for brushless DC super efficient fan is 0.95 to 0.98. So, the actual watt hour and volt ampere hour capacities are almost similar. So it puts less load on the grid, electricity grid. Then similarly, you have televisions, and nowadays you have LED TVs in your homes. All these semiconductor device based appliances, you easily can run on DC directly. And for this, we are willing to do this kind of pilot projects involving any major association, and including, I would personally give an invitation to the ASSOCHAM team later on, that let us do these kind of model projects, and this model project case studies can be then replicated across the country to solve our rural electricity problem, where we all know that electricity is available only for certain number of hours because of so many different reasons. Next one, please. Now, this is to show that trend. This is not, it's a recent phenomena. You can see the Advanced Lead Acid Battery Consortium, which I spoke about. They have already done pilot projects in US. In fact, our Ministry of New and Renewable Energy needs to do a lot of learning from US Department of Energy, the way they do their programs, because there are a lot of shortcomings in our programs, which I have brought to the notice of MNRE officials from time to time. But as usual, the results are very slow. I'll just give you a typical example of hydrogen economy that we are now pursuing with so much aggressiveness. I had been interacting and telling them since 2010 and 2011 to do this on a major scale, which they are going to do now. So this shows that India is always missing the bus. Just like Yogesh, my colleague, said that in terms of solar modules, we are talking about make it India, so many things, but where are we? Where are the quality of our manufacturers in terms of global ratings? This is where the real problem lies. So the thing is, if we want to be a world leader, we need to invest and change our mindsets. Next one, please. Now, this is what generally speaking, we are all familiar with the horizontal axis vertical wind turbines, big wind turbines, which require a lot of wind to produce electricity. Whereas there is another vertical axis wind turbine. You can search on the internet, and these wind turbines have many advantages. First of all, the horizontal axis wind turbines need to be installed generally in the seashores, because from the fundamental sciences that we have studied in our high school, there is a phenomenon of wind breeze. Because in the daytime, when there is a lot of sunlight, we already know that water and our earth, they have different temperature differentials. So therefore, there is a wind blowing from one direction to another towards the earth, because the water is not heated so much as our ground. And in the night, the vice versa happens. So therefore, most of these big wind turbines are either installed in those areas or installed in mountain areas where there is a lot of wind available all year around. But in the small areas, like the inland cities, this vertical axis wind turbines, which are actually available anywhere from 200, 300 watts to 3000 watt. These can be integrated and built into a system which can be a hybrid solar and wind system. And it produces more electricity with small winds and makes no noise. And aesthetically also it looks very beautiful. I'll show you in a few other slides, please. Next one, please. Next slide. Because we have got very few time and many things to show. Please, next slide, sir. Are you not able to move to the next slide? Amit, Shubh, some problem?
Mr. Rohit, what happened? Is there any issue?
Yeah, I think we have got short time. Just be prepared for the next one. So, most of the thing I have already spoken, because we have got little time. So later on, you can openly, I'm very open for sharing my presentation. Many people don't, but for me, there is so much of idea and so much of work to be done that this shows in brief the advantages of these vertical axis mini turbines. Next, please. Keep on moving. Right? Yeah. Another thing which India has not really encashed upon is a heat pump. A heat pump per se is in the solar, we have got two types of systems. One system is called photovoltaics, which you hear so much about, but very few people understand and they implement the concentrated solar power, which is a passive system. Now, this concentrated solar power system is very cost efficient in many areas and for many different applications. And this works on the heat exchange principle. The heat exchange principle is similar to what the air conditioner does, that at one point you take the heat away from the room and then throw it outside. In the heat pump, what you do is that you can actually utilize this waste heat and not let it go waste, and you can use it for various industrial processes. Next, please. Yeah, so this is, these kind of systems are very prevalent in not so sun-rich countries, but still they find it very cost economical in Europe. This is a solar for air conditioning and cooling of all size of different buildings, and these have been in operation and making economic sense in many European and countries, and also in the Australia, New Zealand, and many other countries. So this is the complete system breakdown for the buildings. Next, please. This is the industrial process. So you see, the solar is also very good for for boilers. You can use a solar system and a heat exchanger, and you can substitute with a boiler, and also you can kind of supplement it with that so that in case there is not, because after all it requires solar energy, but in case there is not so much of solar energy, then probably you can fall back on the traditional boiler system. But otherwise, so long as you have got a lot of solar, the solar can be stored in the form of heat. And particularly in those areas like the desert areas, these kind of systems are very popular in Arabic countries and in areas where there are a lot of deserts. For example, in our Gujarat, it can make a lot of sense. A lot of in Madhya Pradesh, in Rajasthan, many such places. So because in today's environment, it is very, very important for industry to keep their cost of production low. How would you do it? You have to depend upon using as much of renewable energy as possible. And this is the way you can compete in the global markets. Next, please. These are commercial systems. These are the kind of big systems where these kind of systems have been in use, and they have been made according to the MNRE specifications, but somehow I do not know why on a larger scale they have not been adopted. Maybe one of the reasons could be that some of the pilot project which happened in India, they were done at a time when the cost of different components in this system was very high. But at today's cost, it makes a lot of sense. I know of at least 2 or 3 multiple kitchens like the Brahma Kumaris, some Gurdwaras, and some other langars. All the cooking is done with these kind of systems. Next, please. This is again same thing. And the beauty of this system is that because, as I said, that on the one hand, it does heating, on the other hand, it does cooling. So if you want to make something like a bulk milk chiller or something like that, or like you see here, even desalination, wastewater evaporation. So all of these application can be done using this kind of idea. Next, please. Nowadays, there's so much of talk about electric mobility. And obviously, electric bicycle is the simplest form of using this if proper planning. Now we are doing planning of smart cities, but I'm a more fan of smart villages where the real transformation can take place, provided the road conditions are good and people have the required skills to assemble these small bicycles at the local level and service them at the local level. Otherwise, there is a big problem. If you don't have the right skills at the local levels, then there will be a lot of unemployment and a lot of these systems that you even a few days back, I was passing through Noida and there was an electric stand there, bicycle stand. But what I found to my horror there was beneath that there were a lot of only these electric cars parked. So this is not the kind of system that we are looking. Actually, we are looking for these kind of bicycles and tricycles which make more economic sense in a country like India. Next, please. Next, yeah. Now this is where the central point of our today's conversation is going to be, that our honorable Prime Minister had started this scheme of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. And these kind of model houses were made using the traditional construction technologies and not adopting what the real possibilities today is. The real possibility is, first of all, why do we need such kind of slanting rooftops in this particular manner? I discussed this idea with many people, and in the presentation that Mr. Sridhar also gave of the Cochin International Airport, which I also saw, I was amazed that first they built the car parking area with the RCC structure, and then on top of it they installed the solar panels. Whereas I thought if I was to do this, I would straight away construct the structure with the solar panels itself. It is a pure waste of money to first build an RCC structure and then do the solar panel on top of it, which is an additional cost. I'll show you in a couple of examples later on. And you will be surprised that in spite of all the slowdowns and whatever we hear in the real estate, the inventory, this is all official data. You can verify from any builder. The real estate inventory under this scheme always gets sold. So that shows the potential of this. And again, 2 or 3 different types of model of such houses, buildings, I wish to do with any organization, including ASSOCHAM, as pilot projects to show the cost viability and make them energy independent, net energy positive buildings where we will not take anything from the grid. We will generate all power in-house and use it in-house efficiently. Next one, please. So these kind of, cottages are very, very popular in India, as everybody knows. And there's another slide after this. So all of these structures, and another thing which makes economic sense nowadays is that there is a lot of prefabricated structures available, but you must have the right skill and the knowledge on choosing the right kind of prefabricated structure where you have thermal insulation so that the internal requirement of the energy needs can be minimized. And then we can also lay a lot of emphasis on natural daylight harvesting, because natural daylight is what our eyesight is actually made for. No matter how effective LED lighting is, but nothing to compare with the natural daylight, and such structures can be made very conveniently using a concept called light pipes, where whatever daylight is available can be sent inside the premises using a certain type of a structure where the infrared portion of the sunlight is not allowed to enter the building except during the summer winters when you actually need it. In the summers and other seasons, you can just reflect back the infrared rays and only let the light rays come inside the building. Next, please. Now, these kind of resorts or community systems, again, you see that people are building the RCC structure. This entire complex can be entirely built with prefabricated structure, which will be lower in cost, because also the cost is to be considered in terms of the time that we will take to construct a structure. In the traditional, you first lay the foundation, then the brickwork, RCC, plastering, painting, so many things. All of those are added cost. Whereas if you have a prefabricated, well-planned structure, and then you can make the rooftop directly from with the solar panels inclined at an optimum angle, like what Yogesh was showing. In this kind of a structure, you can, every location, what is the optimum angle of tilt at which you install the panels. So make the panels a part of the structure itself and install it there, and it faces to grab maximum sunlight. And this kind of systems you can individually tailor as per the customer's need for each cottage, or you can make a community based common system where people come and park their cars, and you can consider that as a DC charging station. Also, we can make a community based DC charging station within the complex itself. And all of this requirement we need to develop is only a 96-volt DC renewable energy base plus energy storage. And energy storage, we will use advanced lead carbon batteries, which will give you comparative life compared to the lithium ion batteries. People generally think that only lithium ion batteries can give 5 to 10 years lifetime, but advanced lead carbon batteries also can give, if you can design the right type of electronics matching to the requirements of the lead acid batteries, which are of a improved quality with a lower internal resistance. Next, please. Next, because I think my time is almost going to be over, and many other slides. Yeah, I think you can miss that one. Yeah, yeah, this rainwater. Another thing is very important. Supposing we were to make a solar structure, the roof is of all made from solar panels, and solar panels, like Yogesh has said, also need regular cleaning and maintenance. So that water need not be wasted. All of that water as part of the structure can be harnessed in this way, and even the regular rainy season water can be harnessed as in a community rainwater harvesting system, because individual rainwater harvesting systems can be a little more expensive and may not make economic sense for each and every individual household. But obviously they can always recharge the groundwater. But if you do this kind of rainwater harvesting at a community level at a lower cost, then you can also solve your water problem, which is a big like we have the water problem, air problem, energy problem, all these problems, and waste management also. Next, please. Next one, please. I think our time is running out. Keep on moving. Amit, any problem not moving? You're not able to? Yeah. So now this is the importance of education, which I emphasized right at the beginning, that we need to reimagine the future of education and start doing things in a different manner than what we have been generally accustomed to doing, because time is running out, technology is available, and courtesy COVID crisis, even this work from home and this meetings like what we are doing today, being from an electronics background, I have been telling people about a decade back that why can't some companies make these kind of virtual platforms? But at that time, everybody thought that no, this is not the right way, this is not the right time. But now COVID has given a lesson to us that there is nothing like a right time. If you had done your groundwork much earlier, probably a lot of carbon credits you must have achieved. But now this is the time when you have to reimagine education and start doing things differently. Next one, please. Next, fast. This is about digital connectivity, like our Prime Minister's vision. That yes, after everything is done, renewable energy, if it is available in different parts of the country. So, oh, I think you have just come to the last one. Anyhow, so if we, because there are so many ideas, and I think Dr. Brajatia, we don't have much time. If you think, then we can conclude with this, and all my details, everything is there, and I'll be personally more interested in taking up questions and ideas from the target audience. Thank you very much for patiently listening to me.
Thank you, Mr. Praveenkumar Suth. Complimenting you for giving an overall picture. It's very important what you said, that from where you took over and what your inspiration, and now what is the scene today, that what is required to be done. Although persons have left, but it's no problem, because you have rightly put everything in the picture, that what is required to be done, and in a right perspective, because this is what we have to move from our conventional, what we are thinking so far, maybe the construction or maybe so many things. So this is the right time that we can take the right approach, and then in a real sense, we can say that we can make our society as a eco-friendly society. Adopting all the inputs, whatever you shared right now, ideas, but only thing, the ideas need to be implemented. And for that, it is very important that the societies like ISLE, SESA, ASSOCHAM, they all should come together. And then they should take the approach, because time has changed. As you say rightly, I would like to repeat what you said. Corona has given us another way of life, another way of working. And this is the time that we should make use of that and then go forward. Uh, Fortunately, our country, our government, and also the Prime Minister Modi is looking for, and that's why he has, given so many calls. Skill India, Digital India, whatnot. And this is what required, that everybody should involve themselves and then you talk about the make in India in a real sense, not made in India that you import the things and then assemble and you say there is a make in India. No, sorry. And this is what there that we will miss the bus. But now because of the corona, now at least that thinking has gone back, and now there are so many startups are there coming. In fact, I think majority of you must be seeing the you must have seen the last week, you can say 1 month Shark 10 programs. Really, it's wonderful. Miss, I used to see, and maybe at this age of 79, I used to get energized that I must do something. When youngsters like 13-year-old and 15-year-old, they are coming with ideas of the startups, and not only in the housewives, they are coming. So this is the way how we can develop our country, and then we can really take up it further. So I must thank Mr. P.K. Sood, Praveenkumar Suth for putting all these ideas. Now, only thing that how we take it further. Now, as far as the questions are concerned, I could see only one question as far as the chat box. Question is there, what is the effective efficiency of the solar system for rooftop in the field, not in lab? So who would like to take? Mr. Yogesh Kumar?
Answer for this question. So the performance of solar modules
Please.
will depend on the performance ratio. Okay. So it is not depend to the module efficiency, is depend to the performance ratio, because if you're talking about the material, the most efficient material is come to the monocrystalline module. But if you're talking about the module efficiency, so now this day the efficiency will become around 90 to 22% in the market. But whenever we see the overall energy generation and prospective, so if your performance ratio should lie between 0.7 to 0.9, like that 70% to 90%. So that is the meaning your plant will be working perfectly in this case. So I think this is the consideration you will cross-check to the energy generation, because the material efficiency is different and the plant efficiency is different, because the plant efficiency is also depend to the energy yield and other parameters. I think it is the helpful for you. Sir, I think you are muted, sir. You are muted, sir.
Yes, thank you. Another question is there, who are the solar cell manufacturers in India?
Yeah, so the lot of people has come to the manufacturing the solar cell. So still we did not make the ingot, and still we did not make the wafer. But we will a lot of company who is making to the cell and the module. If you're talking about the big player like the Tata, the Welspun, the Adani has also come in a very big role. The another big player is come. The Reliance is coming in a very big role in the solar module as well as the hydrogen technology. So the lot of manufacturer in India was making the solar cell in India actually, but still we are the searching to the ingot and wafer condition. Still there is a lot of work will be happening in India, because when we're talking about the make in India, the made in India kind of the concept. So if we start the manufacturing from end-to-end solution like that E to Z solution, so it will be the better for us, because still we are depending to the China, Taiwan, South Korea, and the other country who is making to the wafer and ingot. So the government will be the much more focus on this thing, because if we have our own material, if in our own quality cross check, so definitely we will got the better module, and the reliability of the module will be also in a very good on this particular case.
Sir, I would like to add some things. I would like to add something to.
Yeah. Yes, Mr. Sood.
Because this is solar cell manufacturing is directly related to semiconductor technology, where I was involved. And I know this is what is the basic problem in India, that even today we are so much backwards in hardware. The entire ecosystem of semiconductor manufacturing in India is somehow missing today, and no real manufacturing can take place. And let us wait and watch whether a real manufacturing ecosystem of semiconductors starts taking, because once we can have a real ecosystem of semiconductor manufacturing, then probably we can also make our LED chips, our silicon wafers, and ingots and everything. But it has to be an integrated approach, and this is where China did wonderfully, because they realized long time back, and that is the result that you are seeing that in the chart put up by Yogesh, that top 3 or 4 companies, they are almost all of them are from China, because they invested in those core technologies at that time when it was the time. And now we are waking up too late, because now the material technologies, even let me say, even our scientists need to do things on a faster scale rather than just putting up research paper. Everybody knows this is the fundamental problem, that we are too much far behind in semiconductor technology. Semiconductor technology is required.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sood. Well, as you say, we are late. I will say that it is never the late. जब जागो तभी सवेरा होता है, तो कोई मुश्किल नहीं है. जब जाग गए तभी ठीक है, कोई हरकत नहीं है. और दूसरा एक जैसा है कि quality is more important than quantity, so I am happy that although persons are left or less, but then some questions coming now. Another question has come that what happens to the solar panels after it has lived its life? Are we prepared for the waste which is going to be generated?
Yeah, it is a very nice question. So the every company is working to the recycling aspect. So if you're talking about the solar module, all the things will be recycled except to the cell, because the aluminum structure you can recycle, the glass structure you can recycle, but only the recycling issue will be coming to the silicon material. So maybe if you talk about the solar modules, so the 80% you recycle, but maybe the 20% you did not recycle. But it's still the if you're talking about the first solar module like the CDT technology, cadmium telluride type of technology, because when the CDT technology come in the market, so the people has think that if we come to the contact with the water and it will make the poison kind of thing. So they have developing their own recycling unit. So if you purchase the CDT module, so you did not waste the module in here and there. If you purchase the module to them, they will taking care of the recycling of that module from the proper method. So maybe in upcoming time, a lot of people will be come to this sector, and definitely the next era will become to the recycling, because whatever you put up is here and the dumping is here. So how can you recycle this thing? So in my personal observation is that if you're talking about the solar module, so 80% the things will be recycled, and still the 20% things will be on a research and innovation phase.
Thank you, Mr. Yogesh. There is another question, like we can store energy in batteries. Somebody says that I heard about some chemicals which can store heat or coolness for battery in a better energy efficient HVAC system. Do we have any technology here in our country?
No, absolutely no. Yes, I'm aware overseas a lot of things are happening, but in our country we don't, as of today. It's just a work in progress.
Anyway, I think with this we come to an end, and it was a nice presentation by all the 3 of our experts in the different areas. So I thank all of them on behalf of ISLE, on behalf of SECI, on behalf of ASSOCHAM, ASSOCHAM Green Energy Council. I also thank all the participants that for their patience listening and putting some questions, also very interesting questions. So I think, and then as Mr. Sood has said that yes, his presentation can be shared. So we'll ask other our experts if they wish. I think we can share the presentations, and those who have put definitely their email address and the numbers, we'll be in touch with them for our future, because such programs we are doing every month, at least 1 or 2 programs every month. So definitely, I think we will be taking up more on the lighting and also on the solar, because solar has got a great potential. And another thing, solar has got so many ignorance. So I think from that angle, this is the time that with the support of SECI, ASSOCHAM, we will try to plan more and more programs on the solar, so everybody can get benefited. With these few words, I thank all the complete ASSOCHAM team starting from Mr. Pankaj Dharkar, Mr. Neeraj Arora, Mr. Amit Kumar, Mr. Rohit, and what, of course, I am involved with them. So I thank all the team for conducting such programs, and definitely they are helpful to bring more awareness, more knowledge on the technical front. With these few words, I thank everybody. Thank you very much.
सर इसमें
Thank
एक चीज मैं ऐड
Thank you.
करना चाहूंगा. मैंने चैट बॉक्स में भी एक देखा था, somebody was talking about molten salt technology for storage. I'm aware of it, but again, that is a technology which is used on a higher scale in big projects. Whereas today we were only discussing the storage technologies at the community level and at the individual level, so that the requirement for big storage projects is minimized. But yes, there are many technologies for storage. There is something called flow batteries, which first of all NASA developed. Then there are many other combinations of batteries. As there is something called, I think that's what somebody was asking, the thermal storage batteries. So batteries, storage, ultra capacitors, super capacitors, hydrogen fuel cells, so many things are there, and it is not possible in such a short session to discuss about each and every option. This is just for those who are curious to learn more. That I just saw one question pop up, so it just caught my attention. Thank you very much.
I think we can have one session full, maybe only on the batteries, different type, with the expertise of Mr. Sood would like to take in future. It will be definitely similarly Mr. Yogesh Kumar also, if he wish to take up a full session on the solar, because it's a very important subject and which is coming up, even government is supporting.
सर इसमें
So
थोड़ा
with
सा
this,
जो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक वेस्ट रिसाइकलिंग पे अगर 5-2 मिनट हैं अभी मेरे को लग रहा है तो electronic waste क्योंकि मैं I have been involved with electronic waste management also very much, as you know.
Okay.
So I can add on to what Yogesh ji has said, because on the industry side I have seen practically people doing it. So it is very interesting, Yogesh. You will be happy to know that the big modules, the glass, they're cutting the glass of the big modules, and the smaller modules are using that glass by measuring the transmission. As you know that there is, every glass has got its own properties. So there is the interesting point in India is that there is a, यहाँ वो साइकिल खरीदने वाला भी है, रोल्स रॉयस जगुआर खरीदने वाला भी है. This is a very interesting market, and that is why actually in India nothing gets wasted as such. And बाकी तो एल्युमिनियम उसका फ्रेम है, और आपने बता ही दिया वो जो सेमीकंडक्टर जो सिलिकॉन सेल्स हैं,
Yes, sir.
उसके बारे में जो है इट इज अ वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस, बिकॉज वो सिर्फ इसके लिए ही नहीं, वो बाकी भी तो सेमीकंडक्टर्स हैं, उसकी कोई बात नहीं करता. हमारे सारे इलेक्ट्रॉनिक इक्विपमेंट में सेमीकंडक्टर्स हैं, ट्रांजिस्टर्स हैं, आईसीज हैं, चिप्स हैं, मोबाइल फोन्स. Look at mobile phones. Since when we have been using mobile phones? Nobody was talking about the mobile phones battery recycling up to now. Why? They were going somewhere. आपके घर में आप नॉर्मल भी बैटरी यूज करते हैं, जो कार्बन जिंक बैटरी, alkaline battery cells and everything, you just throw away in the garbage. Nobody thinks about that. So it's a whole ecosystem, and our own mentality also. In other advanced countries, we have adopted the technology without the systems of collection and recollection. And that is why there are a lot of e-waste management companies in India who do not get enough e-waste to recycle properly. वो आपके जो backdrop वाले जो कबाड़िए हैं वो सारा सत्यानाश कर देते हैं. So this e-waste management done scientifically is also required. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Praveenkumar. So in fact, e-waste management itself is a subject. There are a lot of things are there. Definitely we can take it up in our future, because ASSOCHAM GM is very positive on conducting the programs relevant to the eco-friendly, and e-waste management is one of the very important aspect of the green energy movement. So maybe I think in future, if time, we can take up some panel discussion or maybe presentation on e-waste management itself. It's a very interesting subject also, and very important, because in our country we have not put so much focus so far still. So I think that is required, because eco-friendliness is one of the point of the Prime Minister of India and globally. So definitely with this, I think we are already coming to an end. It's a 5:55. So I thank once again, all the experts, panel members, participants for being with us till all this time, till last 2 hours. So with this, thank you very much and good day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, ASSOCHAM.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Prakash sir. Thank you, Yogesh ji. Thank you, Sudh sir.
Thank
Sridhar
you.
sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, Rohit. Rohit, please close this program.
So we should also left